What is up, guys, and welcome back to Negan Plus. Today I got you guys another video. Is gonna be doing some testing with a PlayStation 2 emulator for iOS. This is a request from one of my viewers. He want me to test out this game. Let me just open it up here so you guys can see it. Let me see if I could switch back. Oh, there we go. I see my cursor right here. Perfect. Today we're gonna be playing Champions of Norrath. When he told me this title, it sounded familiar, and it actually did, because I remember playing a demo. I don't know if you guys remember, but the magazines back in the day used to come, the gaming magazine used to come with this demo, and I played this demo, but I never got to buy the game because, you know, back in the day we didn't have money to be buying a lot of games. But now that we all grown up, adult, we got adult money and we buy stupid shit. I'm not calling it again stupid, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I got the game today, and finally I'm gonna be able to test this game so you guys can see how the game will perform. So let me go and show you the settings real quick. I'm using the PS2 Emulator. The latest update is 0.56. The last time it was updated was on September 16, so it's last year. So the development is being a little bit slow, so we don't have a lot of updates on it as it is yet right now, and that's due to the development team is actually a pretty small team, so the update is gonna be rolling out a little bit too slow. That's why I haven't been making a lot of videos. Well, this one was a request, and I actually wanted to get back into making this type of videos, to be honest with you, so might as well test it out. And especially since I never owned the game, I only played the demo, and then I bought this game so I could test it out. Alrighty, so there's I'm gonna put it on OpenGL to start testing, and 2x resolution. Now let's go back to the game. So it's potentially this might close the game, because I don't remember if I set it up correctly to run the JIT streamer, but I did open the game before and I left the app running, so I shouldn't be able to do that. But if it crashes, you guys already know. So let's see. Let me start the game. And oh, perfect. I actually left the running, so that's a win for me. Okay, enter full screen. Boom. So you guys can see this in full screen, and you guys can see in the top left corner, I don't think you guys can see this thing right here that I have from my GPU, but in the top left corner you can see the frame rate for how the game is performing. So right now it's running at 60, and here just asking me for the memory card. We're gonna be changing the resolution settings after this, so don't worry about it. We're gonna be changing in between. And let me fix the audio real quick. There we go, so we get some audio for the game. So right now we're using the backend of OpenGL. We have it at 1x, so that's why the graphic looks like this. And I haven't checked in the compatibility list if the game is fully compatible, but I just wanted to give it a try. So this is one of the few games that as you guys can see here in the menu, that you literally could play online with other people. I think I was reading some of the stuff on the game, it's up to 4 players co-op. It's either online or locally if you got more than one controller. We're gonna play on the easiest difficulty because we're gonna be just testing. At least as you guys can see here, the cutscene is actually running properly fine. They're running at 60 frames per second, and this is not an in-game engine, so we're not gonna see a lot of changes here until we get into actual gameplay.
Orcs and goblins, once mortal enemies, have now become allies and attacked our beloved home in Fadewar. Even as we speak, they move through Feydark Forest unopposed. They have pillaged our home, Kelethin, and put our loved ones to the sword. Their tracks leave scars upon the land that may never be healed. Yet, my friends, I fear that this is only the beginning. If Feydark falls, then so falls Feydwer. And then these beasts will have all of Norrath by the throat. This is not a battle we are fighting. It is a war, and it is one we must win. Many brave fighters have fallen, and many more are dying in the forests below. To win this war, I need more than soldiers with a will to fight. I need heroes. Men and women of strength and bravery.
We are getting a little bit stutter during the cutscene, and the frame went from 60 like around 10 frames per second, and we still haven't messed with a lot of the settings yet. We're using the standard resolution, the default resolution, which is 1x. And after this is done, I just letting it run to see how the cutscene is going to be running. Well, we already see some of the performance with the cutscene. The audio is out of sync and a little bit of shaking on the screen. But we're gonna see what's happened next after this.
Take up the sword, the staff,
The device that I'm using,
and drive this scourge
I'm
from
using
our
the
land.
iPad Pro N1.
If there be any
Have the
who would lay
12.9
down
inch
their
model.
life for the glory of
It has the
Feydwer,
N1
for
chip.
the defense of Norrath.
And the reason why you guys can see this nice and well in full screen is because I'm using a feature called Center Stage, which allow me to use multiple apps at the same time, like a desktop experience. And it lets me like manage some of the apps. And on the setting for this one, I actually have it for like widescreen, so it could take the full screen here. And I have this connected directly to my capture card, so I could actually had this like looking like a regular desktop mode, but it's most, you see it right here. We're not gonna change this now in this settings here, but yeah, for like I was saying is the iPad has a desktop mode called Center Stage, and that's why it looks so nice compared with my other videos, because that feature wasn't out when that came. That feature wasn't out in my previous video when I was starting like using this feature. I believe this feature is only available on the beta. I'm using the beta version of the iOS 16.3, which has Center Stage, and that's why is you have an iPad Pro, is you get into the beta, you could actually have this hooked up to your TV and play with this emulator that actually support the full screen features. That's why it's taking the full screen without any type of like windows or me cutting the video. And you guys could see you guys see my previous videos using the emulator. Now it look a little bit different. All right, let's just and you know what? The cover in the game is a female. Let's go for a female character. Oh, let's go for Italian from Nana. Balance the string. No, so gonna need some sturdy. 36. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Let's just leave it like this. Let's put something simple. Put a B. Cyberpunk reference right there. You know, we got our character. I'm gonna create a save state for the save, so I could get back into the game, so we could test different backend. The two backends available we have is OpenGL and we got Vulkan, but Vulkan is experimenting here. In some games actually kind of like work using Vulkan, but most of the games that I tested before, when you switch to Vulkan, it's just straight off it can get really messy. Let's just leave it at that.
These beasts
So
are
far,
treacherous,
the cutscenes
and they
here
are
is
led
like a
by
hit or
orc who
miss.
is bigger, stronger,
Just not to
and
just
more
play it straight up like
cunning
real
than
good,
any
like
I have
steady
ever
60
met.
frames per second.
His
No
presence
audio
alone
coda,
whips these
coda,
orcs
but
and goblins into the
when
army
it get into
and
some other
cuts its
areas of the
way towards
cutscene, it
us
start like
even now.
getting a little bit messy. It's probably because it's switching between re-render and in-game. There we go. Right now I could tell that's in-game because if the frame rate drop and the audio is a little bit laggy too.
Fortunes could be reversed. I need you to enter the Great Feydark Forest. Discover who this
You see now it's going back to 60 frames per second because we now in a pre-render cutscene. And I don't know if that, oh, there we go. I thought my emulator should crash, but it was something else. Let me skip the cutscene. I'm sorry, my guy. I know you've been waiting for this, but I gotta cut it. I gotta skip the cutscene so we could get into gameplay. Okay, so this is running. Let me put out the menu again so you guys can see how it's running. Let me create a save state right here. We're gonna put it on number 0. Perfect. So as you guys can see right here on the settings, and it is OpenGL 2x. This is standard resolution. I believe this is like around 1080p. I don't remember exactly. I will have to check. This is this one right here is 4K. The image gets a lot cleaner, but we still have this loading. Like you could like look at the character. You see how slow everything is moving, and we're getting like around 20 frames per second. But I'm thinking we're actually getting less than that. And I'm recording directly from my computer, so I don't lose any type of performance. I used to record just using the iPad itself, but now I'm just recording directly from the computer, so I don't lose any type of performance. But as you guys can see, it's getting locked between 20 to 30 frames, but it's not working properly. And even if I lower it down back to 1x, let's see, let's lower it down back to 1x. This is the standard resolution, the native resolution of the emulator right here is moving a little bit better. But you guys can see like the slowdowns around here. It's kind of playable, but I wouldn't play like this, to be honest. At least if I have like a steady 30 frames per second, I would say is playable. But the way that this is moving is not to my taste, to be honest with you. Let's leave it here, exit, and switch to Balkan now. All right. Usually Balkan is broken most of the game when I test it. And another thing about using Balkan is the feature that you saw on OpenGL, you could upscale the game, and Balkan is non-existent. Even though you have the option, you will not see the upscaling options at all. So let's go and click on the game again. There we go. Even the loading screen looks a lot better than running with OpenGL. There we go. So like I said before multiple times that this game has, the emulator has a lot of potential. It does, because you don't even need a BIOS file to run the games. And on top of that, they automatically downloads the hardware for you or for your games. And it's just the developer, the team is actually pretty small. So we just gotta get in some time. Good things take time, so we just gotta keep waiting on it. But it's getting better every single time they come up with an update. They fix a lot of stuff, even though it's not for your games, but they fit a lot of issues with the emulator. So little by little, we're getting in a really playable state. Okay, let's slow the save. There we go. This is the thing that I was saying. We're still getting those visual artifacts even between Vulkan and OpenGL. But the difference here, even at 1x, which is by default, I cannot change it. with Vulkan. It doesn't let me upscale it. What it could do is just crash the whole emulator, to be honest. But you see, there's no changes in the graphic, even though I went up to 2x, and even if I go to 4x, it won't even change either. There we go. You see, there's no changes. But at least one thing that is doing completely different between OpenGL and right now Vulkan is that the game is actually running around 50 to 60 frames per second. Even with all the visual artifacts, this is a little bit more playable because of the frame rate. And for the visual artifacts, with any other emulator, I believe that you keep running the game and the shader keep caching, but I'm not sure. I haven't confirmed if this emulator had that feature to catch the shaders. If it did, I think it will help the emulator a lot by having those shaded cache loading, so it will save some work to the emulator. But running at a Vulkan is kind of surprising because it's running at 60 frames. The only thing is the visual artifact, the shaders, and another thing is it's running at least at 60 frames. And I did try the game with OpenGL to this area here. I was talking to the guard, and during OpenGL, it did not say anything. Like the audio was a little bit kind of like off, and it wasn't even working at all. But here he actually spoke. Like this area, he's not gonna say anything else. But when I came here the first time, he did not say anything. Like the audio file was kind of lost, so it didn't play. This still needs a little bit more work on it. I will consider it playable if you're fine playing it like this, because it's running at 60 frames per second.
You never know what
So that actually kind of works out. But the visual artifacts are a little bit too inconvenient, especially when you have to read a lot of tests. But gameplay wise, at least we're getting like around 50 to 60 frames per second. So and we're getting there. Save the game. Now, you guys already saw how this run with Vulkan. It's playable with Vulkan, but visual artifact not so great. So if we're going back one more time, we're gonna switch back for the last time. We're going to switch it to OpenGL. Let's go to OpenGL, and we're gonna set this up to 2x, at least 2x. We're gonna go to 2x, and we're gonna click on the game. We're gonna load our save state. All right, let's click on that save state. Let's load it and quick load the game. Boom. We have less visual artifacts in here, just the player HP and some element of the UI are kind of like shaking, and we get that weird slowdown. We could increase the resolution for those issues, and the weird slowdown is not doing it for me to playing with OpenGL. With Vulkan plays a lot better, but it loses more words. So gameplay wise, Vulkan, and fidelity wise, OpenGL is the best one, but you will have to deal with the slowdowns. Depending on your preference, hopefully there's an update for the game, for the specific game. But if you're gonna be playing the game, it will be better off with Vulkan, even though you will be missing out on the resolution settings. But in all honesty, I will wait a little bit longer before I start playing this game on the emulator. Because as you guys can see, it looks really good with OpenGL, but you get this slowdown, and it's not so great. Vulkan runs really good performance wise, but you have like gameplay wise runs really good, but you got to deal with all those visual artifacts and so on. And OpenGL, the game you could upscale it, making it look more cleaner and prettier, but you still got that weird issue with the shaking of the character HP and the UI and the slowdown. It says the game is running at 30 frames per second, but I think it's running at half of that, to be honest, because it's way too slow. And yes, you could use another controller here, I believe. So you could, if you have like a secondary Bluetooth device on your iPad, you could actually play 2 players. But well, guys, I'm gonna leave the video right here. This is how the game is performing. I hope you find this video interesting and helpful. And if you have any question, make sure you leave it down below in the video description. I mean, in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.